What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Gouache Universe podcast. I'm your host, Gouache, that comic book artist that discusses comics, science fiction, and pop culture news, all while changing the universe, one subject at a time. So we're back with the review for X-Men 97, Episode 8, Tolerance is Extinction, Part 1. And of course, I got my main man, Teddy, back with us. How you doing, man?
Hey, good man. How are you?
Good, 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 good.
You
So,
feeling?
first of all, good to have you here. But let me just say this before we get into anything, Gambit is not coming back. I'm I'm almost convinced now he's not coming back. I couldn't believe it. So he's really gone. It's taken me a minute to kind of like process that, but man, he's gone. That, and I also wanted to say from now on, I'm gonna start in his memories, in his memory. I'm going to start addressing myself in the third person. Between Gambit, oh, you pouring a drink for Gambit? Well, I'm going to start referring to myself in the third person because of Gambit and Doctor Doom. So I think that's what you're supposed to do when you want some kind of shine. You kind of address yourself in the third person. So I might start doing that. But anyway, man. Anyway, that's just a little something before we get into this. So overall, I just want to get your opinion. What did you think of the episode? What's your likes, dislikes? I'm sure you ain't had no dislikes, but I don't know. You might have. I don't know. What did you think of the episode?
I pretty much, long story short, I think a majority of the episode I was standing up. Like I was literally just like I couldn't sit down because I was sucked into the story, and they're just elevated everything from where they left off in the previous episode. And just like you said before, it's like, how do you keep topping like every episode and pick up this momentum and
Right.
build off the story and just make things so interesting and keep the tension going, like you don't know where things are going to go. You're anticipating things, then you have reveals, and just overall, man, solid.
Yeah.
Once again, 10 out of 10, man.
Let's clap it up, clap it up, clap it up, clap it up.
Wow.
Yeah, I liked it too, man. Well, I was too weak in the knees to stand, so I couldn't stand up the whole episode. But but yeah, man, I loved it. I thought it was great. I mean, we're definitely ramping up. I mean, we're ramping up to the season finale. And if this was part one and we got so many great things in this, I can only imagine what part two and three is going to be. And I believe the writer himself, Bo DeMaio, had gave a heads up saying that these next three episodes is going to be wild. And this part one of the three-part season finale, if this is an indicator, then I know we're in for a ride for episode well, parts two and three. But yeah, man. So just off the bat, from the beginning, we get Cable doing target practice at the mansion and everything. So he's a part of the team temporarily to, get this Bastion thing taken care of. Man, I said that like Bastion is a disease, but I guess he is a disease, right?
Yeah, he is. He is.
But so we get confirmation though. We get confirmation on what happened between him and Cable when Cyclops and Jean uh, were kind of, you know, uh, well, he filled it in to them about how he got separated from Bishop in the
Mm.
time stream, when on that first descent into the future. So I'm like, wow, I guess that you remember because in the last review, I was saying that the writers have written themselves into a plot hole
Mm.
in regards to Bishop. So I guess they kind of sort of answered that, as to why Cable didn't know. Well, I don't know. Maybe they still didn't answer it.
Yeah, I mean, there was a little bit some time jumping there, kind of explaining Bastion's history, kind of
Yeah,
how he came about with Nimrod, having a part of him, absorb into his being, I guess you can say.
yeah, yeah.
But I think it did kind of elaborate a little bit, and uh, creator DeVayo had mentioned to watch these 3 or 4 episodes, I think, from the '90s to kind of branch off to get a little bit more deeper understanding of where the things are going with the next couple episodes,
Yeah.
finale happening. So it was good to kind of refresh. I saw 1 or 2 episodes. I still have to finish up and refresh, but yeah, it kind of did answer a little bit more questions about like the bishop whereabouts and and Cable, I guess, of trying to change things at that point, but there's
Right.
no change that keeps happening. So it's like,
Yeah. So yeah, obviously he's been, yeah, they kind of revealed that also, that he has been making several attempts to come back and change the past.
mm,
But, they had that Doctor Strange reference. What do they call it? The time armitage or something like that. Where it's like you try to come back and change the past, but for some reason the past won't let you.
mm,
And so when they said that, at that point I it was at that point when I kind of realized, oh man,
no Gambit.
yeah, no gambit. No, you can't just go back and do over,
Mm.
Although I don't know, they did that in the first iteration of the show, but hey, whatever.
Can I throw in a theory
Okay.
that I may have potentially have heard is what if we do eventually get to see Gambit, but not the original Gambit? Dr. Sinister always got something planning. I mean, you never know. He got the
No,
DNA
man. No.
somehow. You never
I'm
know.
shaking my head because I don't want that. Who wants it? You mean like a
Madeline Pryor.
clone gambit or something like that?
Yep. Yep.
I don't
Maybe.
like that.
Maybe.
I don't
Just
like that
theory
idea.
thrown against the wall. But
Yeah, I don't like that idea. I don't like that. I mean, I think they already kind of blew their load with the clone business, 'cause, with Madeline Pryor and everything. I don't
mm,
think they would do that again.
mm,
But it's speculation. I mean, anything is speculation at this point. I mean, there's
right.
also speculation that Apocalypse can somehow resurrect Gambit and have him as his horseman in maybe season 2 or 3. So, that's also an option too. But yeah, yeah. And then what after he would stay? I don't know. I don't know. I'm just really upset that Gambit is not coming back. It's like, man, that takes a lot of guts to kill off a main character. I mean, I understand how they did that with Morph in the original because nobody knew who that character was. So it's kind of like within the story,
Mm,
it hurt the characters, but this kind of hurts us as the fan because everybody knows and loves Gambit as a
mm,
major character.
yeah.
So that only solidified it. So when he said the time armitage or something like that, I know I'm messing up the phrase. That
Mm,
kind of solidified the fact that maybe Gambit really won't come back,
mm.
for this one. But
Yeah.
anyway, so that was kind of um, disappointing.
They're
But
keeping us
it's a
busy.
part of the story. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, no, I was just saying, they are figuring out a way to make that vacancy, um, keep us still entertained and filling
Mm,
that void, with a bunch of other things happening, and that leads into all the different characters we got to see like so
mm,
far in this episode,
mm.
and I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know if you want to go into that, but man, there was so much shine that a lot of these characters got.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, we got Spider-Man, we
Uh,
got Doctor Doom, and his speaking in the third person.
yeah, I was
Do
like,
not, what does he say? Do not think that Doom's collusion with your little operation is any something to your mass homicide or something like that. I'm like, man, look at this guy. He always talking in the third person. I'm gonna start talking like that because Doom
yeah,
is the man.
Doom is a man,
Um,
the Lord of Latveria, right there, man.
right, right.
And then
So
Baron Zemo.
Baron Zemo. Who was the other person on the screen?
There was a lady in the shadows I didn't get to see. It was like you got to see her figure, but I don't think they revealed it. I was
Yeah,
wondering.
yeah. I was trying to guess. I was like, trying to get who could that be? Could that be Misty? Nah, it's not Misty.
Uh,
Maybe somebody else for the government, but I don't know. I don't know.
Lady Deathstrike? I don't know. I'm just guessing. I can't think of
Yeah,
it.
yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, a lot of people thought that. I don't know. A lot of people still seem to think that Valerie Cooper is Mystique in disguise. I never thought so. I never thought because her range of what she's feeling and going through and her reactions to the situations seem genuine,
Mm,
whether it's betrayal or whether it feel guilt of betrayal and everything. It still
mm.
feels genuine. It doesn't feel like it's Mystique back there. You know what I mean? It doesn't
Sure.
feel like Mystique is. If it is, then that's a hell of a job. Mystique is like a hell of an actor.
Yeah. No, I don't think it's her. I was anticipating her to be revealed, but I think when that happened, when in that scene with Magneto being released, I thought they would show something there and then, but they didn't. So
Mm,
I think it's just her as is.
yeah, yeah, I think so too. Um, I know we kind of jumping around, but yeah, I guess let's get into the elephant in the room. I was telling you, you and I talked about this, that I going into this episode, I was worried about the mental state of Magneto.
Mm.
because, like I said, the best kind of villains are the ones where you kind of empathize with them. It's like they believe what they're doing is the right thing. You know, it's not, they're not like, mustache twirling, one dimensional villain. It's
Mhm.
like what they believe that they're doing and the things that they've gone through, it's pushes them into a area where you kind of empathize with them. It's like, yeah, that's what I would do. But, that character has a ruthless nature to it. And
Mhm.
so the reason why I say I was nervous for Magneto is because I was right there with him when he made his turn to try to be, to do the right thing and try to honor Xavier and everything. Because a lot of people were speculating, oh, what's his real goal or what's his real angle? Is he trying to set things up or he's trying to, what's he really after? And all along I was saying, no, he's really trying to do the right thing because he's
Mm.
not your typical one-dimensional villain. He's trying to do the right thing. And so when he said, this kind of echoes back to episode 2 when he said, do not do not make me or do not make me let you down or something like that or something to that effect. And sure enough, they did let him down. And
Mm.
I was kind of hoping that they wouldn't do that because I know if they let him down one more time and they show humanity shows their true colors, that he's going to go off.
Mm.
And sure enough, he's on the verge of going back to his old ways. And it's kind of tragic because you're kind of rooting for that character to do the right thing.
Right.
Even though as a fan, you love villains and stuff like that, but you still kind of rooting for him to do the right thing. And it's so sad to see that he tried to do the right thing and the people let him down. And so now he's about to go right back into that tragic villain role that of course, we all love. So how did you feel about that? Like going into just Magneto's whole story and just him, not saying a word and everything and just having given a cold shoulder and just like, look, I'm done. How did you feel about that whole scenario?
Yeah, I think the moment he got captured, and you saw that Bastion was trying to get some words out of him, and he hadn't spoken a word, and we never really got to hear him say what may have been exchanged between him and what's her face when they had that room together at one point, where she was
Valerie, Valerie
Valerie,
Cooper.
yes,
Mm,
Cooper, before he got released and let go from her, um, or from being captured.
right.
I you could see him kind of just like realizing how much empathy and regret and guilt she had in that moment, um, and him accepting things as they are, and kind of reinforcing his beliefs about how the future mutants would be perceived by humanity. And you could just tell that he was done the moment that he didn't say any words. You could just feel the tension in the scene. you know
Hmm.
Good acting. I know this is an animated show, so you don't really get to see as many of the details of acting that you would see in live action. But whenever you see those scenes where somebody isn't really saying anything and you could read their facial expression and the vibe of the scene,
Right.
is one of those moments. And you
Yeah.
just like, all right, I told y'all that's a wrap. That's it.
Yeah.
I'm
Hmm.
about to let loose now. And whoever is in my pathway, you better
Yeah.
get right now. Like that's a wrap. There's no
Yeah.
getting back.
Yeah. It's interesting that you say that because, like you said, that's good that you said because that shows you how good not only the actors are, but just like everything coming together to make a scene what it is. Because when she said, you know, I didn't know, I'm sorry, say anything, curse me, or just say anything. I just want to hear you say something. And that moment where he just didn't say anything, all he
Hmm.
did was just open his eyes and just look up at her.
Hmm.
I felt that.
Yep.
And for it to be an animation, to piggyback off what you're saying, just for it to be an animation to feel that moment, and they're not, really, it's not like live actors in a scene, but for it to be animation and just the scene and setup and everything like that, I kind of felt that,
Mm.
So that just shows you how well done this show is. I mean, anytime you can grasp, like you said, you can grasp the emotion of a scene without the characters having said not even a word. So that was just deep for me. And then they showed the imprint on his arm and everything from the Holocaust and everything. So you know that tells you right there. He's kind of like in his mind. It's like, okay, I'm going through the same thing happened. It's like the same thing happened again with from Genosha to the
Yep.
Holocaust, and those two horrific events kind of mirroring each other. Now, I'm
Right.
not trivializing, something as serious as the Holocaust with this cartoon, but I'm just saying, just for the scene and just to grab that emotional weight of the character and his history and everything, I thought that was very deep, very
Right.
deep.
Yeah, just those small details, like you said, the tattoo on his arm, and him giving so many chances to humanity, and just at
Hmm.
that point, he can't have any more trust anymore, and like, there's no more giving empathy to those that have been going, having this kind of hate toward mutants, and all those that kind of conspire against him and his beliefs, and so forth. And it's great because like they're not holding back, and it's like these are complex stories that kind of resonate, with politics and like grief and like
Hmm.
equality and discrimination, and yeah, it's well done, man. I love
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Um, so what did we got to talk about one of my favorite scenes is the interaction between Jean Grey and Nightcrawler.
Mm,
And can we just clap it up for Nightcrawler just being like a part of the team and finally done right? I
yeah,
mean, I gotta say, this is the best version of Nightcrawler outside of the comics I've seen. And, I've enjoyed him in X-Men Evolution. I think he had a role in Wolverine and X-Men, but this right here is, I mean, just every time he's on screen, he's dropping some type of gem. I was like, I'm trying to write down what he's saying. I'm trying to, oh man, that was deep, but it kind of goes over my head a little at first, and I try to go back and catch it. But I just like that interaction that he had with Jean and how she was saying that, her, things that she's going through with Madeline and having that duality of two characters, but they're one and they kind of feel the same things. And she kind of doubted, she kind of regretted that she didn't reach out to her more and, the whole family thing and whatever. And then Nightcrawler comes along to reassure her that sometimes, you know, it doesn't matter, that, what did he say? He said something to the fact is family is not oftentimes blood, but who you choose. Something to
mm,
that effect. I know I'm messing up the quote, but when he said that, I was like, wow,
beautiful.
Nightcrawler seems to always know the right thing to
Yeah.
say. He's got the gift of gab, and I guess that's how he's in the comic because he's always like, he's like right on time. So how did you feel about that whole interaction and everything?
It's again, I always look forward to having those interactions with the Nightcrawler. And it's also, we also can't like forget about Beast. Like he's got a lot of good quirks as well.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah.
So he's kind of in that same wavelength of like giving some wisdom and good advice. And I feel like, I know right now Nightcrawler is getting more shine. Um, and I think it's necessary because it's like we have to kind of give him more time to build up into his role within the X-Men. And I feel
Right.
like you get enough of that before. So,
Mm,
that void with Gambit with him, and then obviously a lot more um interactions that he's going to have with throughout the team, and his relationship with Rogue, and the kind of grief and issues that Rogue is dealing with, and even right now just the turmoil that the team's going through is
right.
it's necessary, so yeah, I found it to be beautiful. Every time he's saying something, it's quality,
Yeah, it's gotta like you gotta listen. You gotta really listen close to see, okay, what type of gem is he gonna drop now?
Right,
But
right.
but yeah, I mean, but that's not a slight on Beast. I mean, Beast has been great this whole season. I mean, his Shakespearean, knowledge and the books he's always quoting, that's not to, slight on Beast. I think Beast has been all of the characters have been great and just fall into the characters that we all know and love from the comics. And so but yeah, I'm glad that Nightcrawler is there. And if you're gonna fill the void that's been, that we lost Gambit and everything, who better than Nightcrawler to kind of fill that void? And he's definitely pulling his weight in spade, as being an emotional support for the team. But also, we got to talk about that scene with him and Wolverine
Oh
and
God,
the scene that
yo,
I've been waiting on. The stabby, sticky. Wolverine just sticking any and everybody in the room. Ah,
dude,
great. And then Well, first of all, we had Morph. Why does Morph get taken out every time he morphs into a big character? He gets taken out half a second later. We got to talk. We got to talk to Morph, man. We got to. Hey, you need to kind of step it up. If you're gonna be all these characters, you have to shine in those characters. You know, a big character like Juggernaut. Come on now.
Yeah, he needs to juice up, get some more protein in his diet or something. Man. Like you can't be just throwing away characters like that in those scenes. Come on, give him some respect. But
Yeah,
yo,
yeah.
like, come on. When the X-Men started getting attacked, like you just felt that universal threat, like
Right.
it's about to go down. And
Yeah.
then the I live for those one-liners by Wolverine. He's been
Right.
all season, right? Wolverine got a lot of shine in the previous in the 90s and stuff. And I feel like he has kind of been in the backseat. And this is one of those episodes where we finally got to see him put in
Yeah.
work, man. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, he was actually stabbing people. I was like, man, remember on the one back on network television, he would just like slash at people, but it was always either a robot or,
right.
some type of, inanimate object or whatever. Even though I guess you can kind of make the argument that these Prime Sentinels are human robotic hybrids, but
Right.
still, I mean, just the imagery of him slicing and you can see the actual slice. I was like, oh wow, they really going in. And
Yeah.
I was waiting. I told you I was waiting for Wolverine to cut loose.
Right,
And
right.
so just he cut loose, but not only that, but he cut loose back to back with that classic pairing of Nightcrawler, Wolverine. Man, I know
Oh,
you got to say something. Go ahead, go ahead,
oh,
go ahead.
yeah. So, I mean, first off, I quoted two things, and I was like, I got hyped up. Okay, so Wolverine, when Beast got uh the reveal of the Prime Sentinel reporter lady,
Right.
right? When he got hit and through the room or whatever, and
Yeah.
then Wolverine's like, what did he say? He said Beast needs to fix his taste in women or something like that.
Yeah.
Just like him saying it the way he said it is just so Wolverine.
Hmm.
And then when he went to go save Rogue or whatever, he broke the door down with a bunch of them about to kill her in her
Right.
sleep. He's like, I got 6 reasons why why
Yeah.
he didn't, come at her or whatever and stuff like
Yeah.
that. The little
Classic.
one-liners are everything to me.
Oh
And,
yeah. Yeah.
and then when he teamed up, when he saw those swords, in that seat. Hey, hold up. I got some swords right here, man. You know what I mean? Come on. Japanese swords right here, man. Come on. That was
They probably need to be a little bit more sharper than the ones you got, but
yeah. But the
yeah,
visual,
yeah,
just them fighting back to back like that. Oh
yeah,
man.
yeah. And man, did you see? We got to see from the perspective of the teleport when he took Wolverine. Well, Wolverine went into him, and Nightcrawler was behind him, and he teleported them all out to the outside or whatever. You got to see what it looks like inside of his teleport. I thought
Yeah,
that was not only well done animation, but also story wise, because we kind of get to see, okay, so this is how what he sees from his perspective when he teleports. So that was a nice little story drop or whatever. But what else? Yeah, man. So yeah, that whole scene was just tight.
and
But you know what? Also, I wanted to mention this kind of goes back to what I was saying about how the X-Men are family, whereas you said a good quote about the Avengers. You said they're more like what
uh,
co-workers or something.
yeah,
Something that you said. Yeah, contractors. Yeah, yeah. But I liked how in all of the stuff that was going on in the mansion, the first thing that they did was they went to go check on Rogue
mm,
because Rogue is still out and she can't really defend herself. So the first thing everybody was doing was kind of checking on Rogue. So Wolverine went there to make sure Rogue was okay, and of course he saved her in the nick of time. And right there, boom, Nightcrawler came in with that follow up. No, my friend, you have 9. And he had the 9 swords or whatever. I mean, the extra 3 swords. I
mm,
was like, man, that was just my scene right there. Because after Nightcrawler finished slicing and dicing his people, he looked back at Rogue to make
mm,
sure that she was okay. And just that scene, without them having to even say anything,
mm.
you can read so much into that where it's like, okay, it's a family type thing. So we have to always look out for family. So I
Right.
thought that was cool. I just personally thought that was cool.
Yeah, absolutely. The attention to detail, like it's just well thought out.
Yeah.
Every little second is not wasted, and
Right.
to see the amount of um emphasis and focus they put in to these episodes, including this particular one.
Mm.
Um, just well done, man. Well done. Execution on every part, from the fight scenes to the story building to the climax here near
Right.
the end. Oh my god. And Sunspot using his powers with Jubilee.
Yeah, yeah.
No, that was dope.
I was like, at that scene, I was like, Jubilee, what you doing? Why would she use her powers and try to leap off the building? I was like, come on now. Have you ever even tried that before? She tried it on the spot. I'm like, what did you think was gonna happen? She almost died. So if
Mhm.
Sunspot hadn't come in and saved her,
Right.
that would have been the end of Jubilee. So,
Yeah,
I
very
thought that was
true.
kind of funny. But
And then Scott with Cable and Jean at the
ah,
that household with the
yeah.
there's a lot of stuff that happened, right? Like first off, I saw your reaction too, because that was my thought too. I was like, I don't trust this old lady. Sit in the corner in the dark, right? Straight out of it, chapter 2. Like you don't trust no nice old lady
I know. Mhm.
villain. It also gave me vibes from Ace Ventura. If you remember when they visited the crazy kicker, his family household, and went to his room, it was like just crazy, um, just obsession over the quarterback. And I mean, that's just a deep cut of a,
It's been so long since I've seen that, but I think I recall what you're talking about, though.
but it was just creepy overall, right? You could
Yeah,
just
yeah,
you felt these vibes like something's about to happen, like,
yeah. I was
and
like, I need to know where that old lady is at all times. Anytime she was off screen, where is she?
yeah, where
'Cause,
is
I
she?
mean, she kept gliding around. Yeah, right. She kept gliding around and then speaking all creepy, and then the music in the background was creepy and stuff like that. I was like, man, where's this old lady, man? 'Cause I
Yeah.
don't trust her. But anyway, it's revealed that that's sick though. For Bastian, he turned his own mother into a Sentinel Prime. Isn't that sick? How sadistic do you have to be to not only I can see maybe the other people, that's just sadistic in itself, using people against their will to turn them into, robotic sentinels or whatever.
Right.
But to turn your own mother into a sentinel, that's just
Yeah, that just shows the how the level of threat that he is, and how like just how evil he is, and also just how much of lost of a human connection he has to people. You do
right.
that to your mom. That kind of goes back into the 90s, where Master Mold was started to think on his own and think against what Trask was thinking about as mutants being threats. But in
Mhm.
reality, mutants are humans, and you are your own threat. So like
Right.
him
Right.
looking at humans, including his mom,
Yeah.
as
Yeah.
like that kind of mentality. So
Yeah, that was just, and what's also tragic is you kind of feel sorry for those humans. Well, I don't know. Do we feel sorry for them? Because remember, they actually volunteered for that. They didn't volunteer. They didn't know they were going to be turned into Sentinel Primes, but there was some type of volunteer for them in the first place because obviously they had those sentiments in their mind against those anti-mutant sentiments in their mind. But the thing that was sadistic was Bastian use them and turn them into Sentinel Primes without their knowledge. That's the horrific part. But do we feel sorry for the humans because they actually volunteer for this?
So this reminds me of, I don't know if you ever saw the show Superman and Lois.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
yeah, I think CW. But there was an episode where, unbeknownst to volunteers, they were manipulated. Long story
Mhm.
short, and their memory got erased. In terms of like what transpires when they're being controlled, or a switch is being flipped. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah.
um, I think they kind of fell for a trick here, and I think they were just vulnerable, and manipulated. So I don't know. I'm sure
Oh,
they'll.
okay. So that's the place we're in. So we do empathize with them. We feel far sorry for them because they're dead. Because remember, Wolverine was like stabbing and stabbing them. So it's like, okay, is Trish Tilby gone now? She gone for good? I guess so, right?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe they can still kind of heal themselves. I'm not sure. I don't know. Maybe he can reconstitute
Yeah.
them.
That's creepy. But anyway, so we're running out of time, but I wanted to we got to talk about the pairing between Cable, Jean Grey, and Cyclops. What did you think about that whole pairing, the scene with them working together, the whole car exploding in the background with Jean Grey? What did you all of that was just like top
Yes.
notch. What did you think?
It was excellent. I loved everything about it. Just the fact that he had a car in the Blackbird, and then and
Like you
then
have a Porsche.
yeah, you got Porsche, and then like Gene helps kind of drive the car while Cable shoots off the Prime Sentinels, and you got Scott shooting through like a cave, just
Yeah,
going up the mountain, and like then they have that iconic shot of them working together and just landing like superhero landing there.
yeah, yeah.
Cool. I loved every little exchange that they had there. It was cool.
Yeah, I was when Cyclops said, "We're gonna show you that you don't mess or you don't screw with the Summers," and he looked over at Jean and with that little smirk, and she looked over at him, and then she took the wheel and started driving it. I was like, "Oh man!" Then Cable pulled him out, and then Cyclops started to, like you said, shoot his concussive force blasts or whatever to steer the car or to push the, I guess, to do like the Tokyo drift, so to
Yeah.
speak. And while Cable was like shooting off all the primes or whatever, I was like, oh man, that's my scene. And then, like you said, with uh them, exiting the car through Jean's, telepathic or telekinesis powers or whatever, and the car exploding and oh man, that was just a shot to behold, and I think I'm gonna use that as probably one of my one of my laptop screensavers right
Yeah.
there. But yeah, just that whole scene was great, and the fact that Jean Grey, when they were in the Quinjet or the SR jet, the Blackbird, she was like, "Come on, put on your seatbelt," and Cable was like, "Quit, stop bossing me around."
Yeah. Mom, come on, mom, leave me alone.
Yeah, but you know what? I think that she would be more like an aunt, even though she's not his mother. She's more like
Yeah,
an aunt, don't you think?
yeah. I meant that more like a slang, expression, like, all right, mom, leave me alone. Like, in that way, kind of
Yeah, 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 yeah,
yeah, no, I think she would probably be an aunt at that point in reality. But yeah,
yeah.
I think the crazy part of with Magneto going to the North Pole after that, like, come
Right,
on, you know,
right.
insane.
Yeah, he's like Wolverine said, he declared war. He's definitely declaring war on humanity, and like I said, I'm still nervous. I guess he's going to go back to, but you know what? I guess this kind of segue as we wrap it up. This kind of segue into what we're looking forward to next. And for me personally, I think that this is pure speculation. This is no rumor. This is not anything. This is me speculating. I think we're going to head towards Fatal Attractions, and I think Magneto is going to go back into his old villain itself. And I think at the end of it, we're going to have him pull out Wolverine's adamantium claws.
Mm,
Wolverine, I think next season is going to be not specifically about that, but I think that's going to be his arc next season of him having bone claws. And at the end of next season, maybe Wolverine, maybe we get that apocalypse storyline where he pumps his adamantium back in him. So I think we're heading for that at the end of these two episodes. What do you
yeah.
think?
Yeah, no, I agree. I had a discussion about that, and there may be a reveal of Onslaught at some point, and he's gonna be diabolical, and already Professor X is coming on the scene. Him calling all the X-Men. You got to see the visual. It was like
Yeah.
an iconic shot from the comics. I think we're gonna
Hmm.
see a lot more other X-Men characters like Colossus and so on, and then. Who knows, man? We may have an Endgame kind of thing, bringing in more characters from other universes, Spider-Man, Fantastic Four, Doctor Strange, man, it's gonna be epic. It's not gonna be this season, probably later, but they're gonna probably build to it. So that's what I'm looking
You
forward to.
think so? Well, oh, okay. I thought you were saying like at the end of this season, they're going to call
No,
everybody like
no, no,
Psylocke, Colossus, all
no, I
those
think they're
guys.
gonna slowly build. Like
Oh, okay. Okay.
it's gonna happen in the later seasons. But
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we got a lot to look forward to, man. I can't wait to the next two episodes, man. So we only got a couple more days, so I'm excited about it. But yeah, man, this was another solid episode in my eyes. Like you said, for me, I also give it a 10 out of 10. Um, yeah, man, Wolverine, his claw, as you can see in the graphic. Say goodbye to those animanium claws, Wolverine, because I think you can get it pulled out. I don't know, that's just me thinking. I think you can get them things pulled out at the end of this episode because Magneto, he's in a bad way, man. He's definitely declared war. Um,
oh yeah,
but yeah, man. So it's good having you on this review.
yeah,
Yeah,
pleasure,
man.
man.
So tell us where can we find you and what's your, where can we find you on the internet and what you got going next?
You can just find me on Instagram at tbiz158. Other than that, you'll find me again here when we review the next episode. Gonna get hyped again. Gonna take another cold shower. Can't wait. You have me pleasure always.
So you take a cold shower before every episode. Woo, 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 woo,
Yeah,
woo, woo.
yeah. You're gonna find a video one of these days. I'm gonna be hopping around. My wife's gonna. Oh, you'll see. Yep.
Yeah. And of course, hey, first of all, yeah, it's good having you here, man. I can't wait to we can chop it up on these next two episodes. Um, yeah, you can find me on all the interwebs, of course, just at Gouache Universe. And like I said, I'm a comic book artist, so I'm always working on my comics. And I'm just one person, so you know, all you guys out there, bear with me. I got a lot of things that I'm creatively working on, but I'm heavily inspired by this is the complete reason that I got into science fiction comics and everything to begin with, X-Men and stories and things like that. And this is prime storytelling. This is top-notch storytelling, top-notch X-Men content. And I'm so excited that this show is back. Not only is it great, but it's completely exceeded what I thought that it would be in its return. So I look forward to seeing you guys and my reactions. And of course, I'm looking forward to Teddy, my main man, coming back to chop it up and review them with me. We're in for a heck of a ride for these next two episodes. And yeah, until next time, I'll see you in the universe.